You need to know where we're at.
Welcome back to the Napeville Moms Network, where we are chatting about finding your tribe. There are many TV shows that have funny episodes about mom going to the playground trying to find mom friends. It isn't always easy. So how do you find them, and how do you know that they are your people? What has worked for you guys?
First of all, I love that you just used that visual of the mom on the playground because it's so funny, but it's also heartbreakingly true. Like, we've all been there. And I think because we just want it to be that easy. We want it to be like when we were kids on the playground, you would walk up to somebody and say, hey, my name is Patty. And then you would be best friends throughout elementary school for no other reason than you were on the playground together. And as adults, it just isn't that easy. But I do think as moms, we kind of have an inside track into finding adult friends just because of the kids, our kids' communities that they've created. And some of the friends, some of my deepest friendships now were started when our kids were little and we all walked to school together. We went to the same sporting things together or the same musical things together. And what I love about that little tribe that I have, is that we've really gone through parenting life together. We potty trained at the same time. We went to teen years at the same time. We're now all in college at the same time. And not only, I don't want to say misery loves company, but you do kind of like to have a group that understands the challenges. But at the same time, I loved having a group, and I still love having a group, that gets excited about the tiny little mom successes. Like, you know, the first night you sleep without pull-ups. Like, yay! And it doesn't seem like a big deal in a lot of circles, but in your little tribe of friends, it's like they will make that the biggest deal ever. And that's so awesome.
Yeah, no one understands what you're going through other than your tribe, and it's typically women who have children the exact same age. When I lived in Chicago, I lived in the city, and when I had my daughter, I mean, I would say maybe just a month or two after, I quickly joined a meetup group. And I'll never forget, you know, walking into that first meetup, and it was a long table, and there was one seat open here and one seat open here, and it's totally like dating. I looked at the gals on one end and the other end, I thought, I'm gonna sit here, and she ended up becoming, you know, one of my closest friends, and her daughters were a month apart, and we both, you know, moved out to the suburbs, and there's a group of 5 of us, and going through those milestones together, and you know, crying together and laughing so hard you pee your pants because there's no bladder control after you have babies. It's so true, sad. And you're, as much as you know, you adore your husband, your partner, parents, no one understands that day to day like a mom who is going through that at the same time and walking next to you. So I love this topic. I think it's fantastic.
You know, and I think we're fortunate in the community we live in Naperville. You have a lot of families that have moved from other towns or out of town. So I think people are more open to making new friends and more inviting. So that makes it a lot more easier. And it's hard sometimes. You could be surrounded with social media or phones, but sometimes you can feel pretty isolated and alone. And, you know, if you don't find a tribe out there that you feel like you fit in, sometimes you just have to take the initiative and say, you know what, I'm going to start my own circle. And the key is whoever your friend's circle is, that you can be yourself, you know, true to yourself. And this is a group, like you were saying, that supports you, is there for your highs and lows. And you need that, you know, especially as a mother going through that whole journey, to share that.
And it's important that, you know, when I think about my little tribe, you know, from when we were younger, when the babies were younger, our parenting styles are not the same. Actually, you know, it's funny, you think, I don't know that all 5 of us would have been friends necessarily as teenagers, but here we are, and we're so supportive, and we're there to not judge, but to support and to love and to comfort and to laugh with. And that's, I think, what makes a tribe work, is you all don't have to have the same style or opinions about everything. You just simply have to be open to be there, you know, for another person.
I know when I went to chiropractic school, I came from a place, I did not have a good high school experience. I was so worried about being popular that that's all I focused on. And I was not popular. And so I was kind of like always hovering around the popular girls, trying to get invited to things. And then one time I got invited to something because I accidentally overheard them talking about it. And so they kind of were like, oh yeah, Kathy, you can come. And I was so uncomfortable it was a sleepover. I was so uncomfortable. And so I went through a pretty tough time in my life. I'd hurt my back. It just wasn't my best phase of life. And so when I moved to chiropractic school, which was 1,000 miles away, I was shy. I didn't really feel confident. I didn't feel good about my body and where my weight was. And I walked into the auditorium. There's about 300 people, and I didn't know anyone. And I just thought, I really have a chance right this very moment to create the person I want to become, because no one knows anything about my past, right? I have this like fresh start, which I think sometimes moving is an exciting time for you to recreate that part of you that maybe doesn't feel like who you want to be for the rest of your life. And so I just started going up to people, like you said, Sarita, right? Create it for yourself. But it takes some guts to do that, you know?
You gotta put yourself out there.
Yeah, I'm like shaking, like, hi, I'm Kathy from New Jersey, how are you? And within a couple of months, I had the closest group of girlfriends that I'd ever had. And I created that for myself through pushing through the fear of being rejected. Because sometimes you are gonna be rejected. There's really nothing you can do about that.
Well, and I think like you were being authentic. Like when you went away, you weren't trying to be in the popular group. You were just trying to create a group.
Yeah.
And I think that is where you can be yourself, when you are who you are, and these people want to hang out with you anyway. Like those are your people. Like that's your tribe of people. And now that my kids are older, I am still good friends with the parents, even though our kids may not be as good of friends as they were when they were in kindergarten. We're still good friends. And I also have a tribe. I kind of have a couple of tribes, really. But I have a tribe of friends where we sometimes we'll run the Disney Half Marathon every few years. And it's a group of us. There are 4 of us that go to Disney World by ourselves with no kids, no husbands. And we run this really stupid race that I would like us to stop doing. But after the race, we spend the rest of the weekend at Disney World, and we all stay in the same hotel room, and we have this amazing time. And it's like, then they remember that we're not just moms, you know, that we're women and we're people, and we can talk about work stuff, and we can talk about relationship stuff, and even things beyond our kids. And those friendships, like I don't know how, like I look back and I think of the challenging moments of life, how I would have ever gotten through them if I didn't have these people that were there saying it's okay, it's going to be fine.
Right. So you find your tribe, you know, when you least expect, and places you weren't planning to, you know, find some really great friends. I started doing Cradle Club at Edward Hospital when I had my first child, because I was a working mom, so I didn't have a huge network of a lot of moms that I knew. And we were all in that same phase, and we ended up becoming best friends. And our kids our firstborn just celebrated 16th birthday, and we had a reunion. So,
I love
you know, and these were women I just met at the hospital.
Yeah, that's so neat. That is really neat. I know for me, I've gone through different versions of my tribes. As I've changed, sometimes things in my life have changed enough where the tribe that used to be that comfort zone maybe isn't necessarily the right fit. And I think it's okay to constantly reevaluate. I know I've gotten into certain groups of friends where I realize every time I go, they're kind of chatting about other people too much. And that's something natural, right? We can all say we've done that before.
Right.
But if that's kind of the constant conversation, then that's probably going to be the fact that they're talking about you when you're not there, right? So I know that as I've gotten older, I've actually limited the people I spend that super quality time with. My best friend Emily out in Wisconsin, we are very intentional. We live 3 hours away, and we make that drive to get together with one another. And she's just my heart and soul and my family. I have a couple other really great friends that are some of my other best friends that they fit into different parts of my life as well. But I think it's okay to say, I think I'm just going to decrease the amount of time I spend here and look for people that might be a little more supportive or a little bit more upbeat or friendly or things like that.
Yeah, 100%. You have to time is our most precious resource and commodity. So we need to make that decision for ourselves. Where do I feel the most myself?
Yeah.
I think that's so important.
Yeah.
Where can I
Yep.
just let my guard down? I have two of my best friends, and I just saw them actually. When she lives in Wisconsin as well, and luckily we all have
We road
daughters.
trip.
Yeah, we all have daughters the same age, so we're of course forcing them to become best friends. But it's, and my daughter said, "Why do the moms have to be at the sleepover?" I said, "Because the sleepover is for the mom. You just happen to be a
You're tagging
byproduct here." But it's true, and whenever I'm with these two of my best friends, it's when all guards are down, you're completely yourself. And if you can't be that way with different friends and groups, then there's not time. I have no time to be phony. I have no time to feel uncomfortable or watch what I have to say, because then that's just inauthentic.
And it's exhausting.
And it's exhausting.
Like, I just am too tired to have to figure that out. But I still have a very good friend of mine from high school that we don't see each other near as often, but really when we get together, it's as if we're 18 again. Like, we go right where we were, and all the ups and downs our lives have had, we have always come together when we need to come together. She's my favorite person to see when I go home for the holidays, and her 3 kids and my 3 kids are friends, even though they don't live near each other. They know each other, and there's something really cool about having like this friendship you started when you were a teenager, and now your kids who are becoming adults, they all know each other, and they take a lot of lessons from our friendship. Like, we'll look at them, look at the friendship that they've made last these several years. I won't say how many. I almost said
Or
it.
decades.
Oh, that sounds horrible. It's 2 decades. But there is just nothing better than again, life is tough, even for all of us, and to just have a place to land is so important.
Makes life so much better, doesn't it?
So much better.
Well, and I know that the 4 of us, as we've gotten to know each other a little bit better as we've been doing this show, it's been such a wonderful space to come together and have our little talks offline. And I really appreciate you guys all being here too. So thank you for watching this month's episode of the Naperville Moms Network. We appreciate your tuning in, and remember, you are always invited. Thank you.